In your last fight, you missed weight. You were at 177.2 pounds, and you
Hmm.
expressed that you're still learning that weight cutting process. What do you think went wrong?
A lot of things actually. Mainly it was me trying to cut the corners and be slick, thinking I was going to make it a little bit easier for myself, and really I just kind of messed myself over. I've only made 170 one other time as a pro. Everything else has been a catch weight, so I don't have a ton of experience dropping to that weight, other than some of my amateur fights, which gives you like another 2 pound weight allowance on that too. Um, so really, once I was doing a different method this time around, like that whole 600 calorie diet and everything else, and that was already tearing me up with how much you have to train. But then when I was doing the water load, I kind of just freaked out seeing the numbers on the scales, and I made a really dumb move, even though I know like that's not what you're supposed to do. Is like restrict the water intake too soon, and when you're supposed to continue taking in that water and taking in that water. Um, but at the end of the day, it's really all on me. It doesn't really matter how it went down. The it is almost it is what it is type of moment. Really, missed the weight. I learned my lesson from it. And to make the fight, I also got to give a big reach, shout out to Treston for even still taking the fight. We had to negotiate a little bit to get that one done. I couldn't come over into the fight over a certain weight limit. And then I also, gave him a bit more of my purse than the contract calls for.
All right, all right. I'm glad to see you're basically like learning along the way. You're still a young guy, 28 years old. You have fought at catchweight before. You fought at middleweight, and you fought at welterweight. And if I remember correctly, you mentioned welterweight felt really good to you. Would you keep torturing your body to get to 170 if you torture your body, or are you willing to kind of move up to middleweight? What do you feel is best for you?
I feel 170 is best for me, and it's really not. When I made it before, it wasn't that torturous. I almost dieted all the way down. It's just this time I wasn't strict with it. I tried a different method, and that method did not work for my body. Last time around when I made 170, I only saunted off like 4 pounds. I got all the way down to like 175, 174, and then just saunted off the rest, still fully hydrated and everything else. I did not torture myself in any way. I feel like I have a frame that matches most other welterweights. I'm clearly taller and longer than most, but our overall body frames are relatively the same. If I move up to middleweight, I better get used to being a much smaller man, because going up to the LFA shows and being by some of these other higher level middleweights, they're huge, man. They're freaking huge, way bigger than me. And it really was a reminder like, hey, man, 170 is where you need to be. So you just need to make the appropriate lifestyle changes to make it as comfortable as possible.
You're 5-0 in your young career. Obviously, you probably have the UFC, Bellator, PFL, One Championship, and so on scouting you. Do you have a preference in organization that you go to?
Um, yeah, yes and no. If I get an offer from any, I'm gonna say yes, of course. It's just it'd be foolish not to. If I had my pick of the litter, it'd have to be between the UFC and One Championship.
Any reason in particular the UFC and One Championship? Obviously, UFC is seen as like the pinnacle of MMA, but you mentioned One Championship, which is still relatively young. And majority of fighters would actually say Bellator just because they get to stay in America. Well, American fighters. However, you chose One Championship, which is extremely interesting to me. Any particular reason why?
Yeah, I like the format. I like their approach toward weight cutting, where everyone essentially just had to move up a weight class, like and fight closer to their natural walking around weight. I also like the chance to be able to test myself in kickboxing and Muay Thai professionally over there on that global stage. It's world recognized. Like many world kickboxing champions will be like, no, the One Championship belt is higher than the other world titles that I have. Being a 3 combat sport world champion would be absolutely outstanding, and it is a personal dream of mine.
Is there any particular fighter that you can probably say is your dream fight right now at one championship and the UFC?
Ooh, dream fight. Probably Stephen Wonderboy Thompson in the UFC. Because if you want to call yourself one of the top strikers, you kind of have to take him out before he's gone, because he's showing that it's him. And then in one championship, that actually would have to be our weight classes aren't the same, but probably Reagan Ursel, the Immortal. He's just a phenomenal kickboxer, freaking phenomenal. And you probably tuned me up, if I'm being honest. I still love to go in there and see what I got.
There's a huge fight for the UFC Saturday, tomorrow. Francis Ngannou versus Stipe Miocic. Any predictions?
Oh, Miocic, he's going to do it, especially now. Everyone's saying, oh, he hasn't shown any improvements. I'm like, yeah, he really has. If you pay attention to that Curtis Blades fight at the beginning, when Curtis was going for those takedowns, there were a ton of improvements in his takedown defense. He's also had Kamaru Usman with him in his camp for the last, I think, 2 to 3 camps now. He's aware how he lost, and I'm sure over the last 3 to 4 years, he will have adjusted those issues, I'm sure.
How about next week for Bellator? Pitbull versus Sanchez 2, the rematch. Any predictions there?
I gotta go Pitbull. I gotta go Patricia on that one, man. I'm sure. Sanchez is such a dog. He's a dog, and his cardio never stops. But Pitbull, he's a technical savant. Most people just think it's power, and I'm like, nah, man, he's a very accurate, precise dude. You don't see him wilding out in brawls too much, especially not these days. He'll pick you apart, and he's got the power to put you out. If he hits you consecutively 3 to 4 times, you're probably unconscious. In weight class be damned for him.
Would it be fair to say you're rooting for Pitbull versus McGee in the finale?
I can't believe you had to come at me like that one, man. Probably, you know what? I would go Pitbull still. I'm gonna still go Pitbull over McGee.
All right, fair enough. Pitbull retains in the Grand Prix. Who's Jalin Fuller inside the cage, and who is he outside?
Outside the cage, I try to stay as true to the gentleman moniker as I possibly can. At all times, I'm a father of 3. I got little ones looking up to me, looking to me. Inside the cage, I'm trying to be as brutal and violent as possible. I'm just looking to finish. I don't believe that, the judges can tell you who did or did not win a fight, when by the time that 15 to 25 minutes is up, for all you know, that next punch is the one that would have put him out. So my goal every time I step in there is to, at least, if I can't finish you, it's to dominate you. It has to be no question who won that fight. But ideally, I want to knock you unconscious.
Is that where your nickname came from, the gentleman?
Actually, my coworkers at HP gave me that nickname, because I walk in like, dressed to the nines, the best, the bow tie, everything, every single day. So like, man, one day, my coworker Theo Fate, he was like, "Hey, it's the gentleman Jalin G out here," and I'm like, "Ooh, that felt nice. That felt smooth. All right." And before my first pro fight, they were like, "Dude, you're gonna come out as the gentleman?" Like, they gave me, like, they kept on being like, "Yo, it's the gentleman." No, he's the gentleman. I didn't have a nickname yet, so by the time of my second pro fight, it kind of stuck when I said it around the gym a couple of times. And I'm like, "Oh yeah, dude, that's you. That's done."
Anything you would like to tell your fans right now? Since you're 5-0, we can probably expect to see you in a big organization soon. Anything you want to say to them?
Thank you for the support. Continue to show your support to me, and I will not let you down. I'm gonna finish these guys one way or another. I'm gonna go in there and finish or be finished clearly. Other than that, I just appreciate you guys being here along for the ride.
In your last fight, you predicted a head kick knockout. if I remember correctly. What brought that inner mystic Mac out of you? What did you see something in footage, or was this something you were training?
Both actually. So we like to break our. We're definitely a type of camp that we're gonna watch tape. We're gonna break everything down and figure out the best way to go in there. The best way to go in there and get the job done as quickly as possible. And the only other time that we've seen Treston get knocked out was due to a left head kick in his amateur career. So that whole time when we were going, we were training for left straight, left high kick, left straight, left high kick, just to give him a little bit of a different look, get him respecting the left hand first. And after he dropped me, which I was like, oh, okay. I mean, he caught me clean. He got me. It was all chin too, all chin, put me right on my butt. Thankfully, I was able to pop right back up. I'm well conditioned. And when I cracked him, I was like, he respects the left hand now. He respects it because it put him down immediately too. So when we were sitting there, I was like, all right, we're about to have a little gun show. We're about to have a little shootout here. And only one of us is about to leave this exchange. So I tossed up the head kick right after because I knew he was gonna, he was gonna dip that way. So I threw it right over his guard, like so it hit more right here on the temple. And then after that, I was like, yeah, that stunned him. It's over. Let's go.
For your next fight, do you believe you'll be at welterweight, a catchweight, or middleweight? Or are there any negotiations right now in the process for you getting your next fight?
Right now, I broke my right hand in the middle of the fight. Like with the shot that I used to drop him the second time, the right hook. And I got me a nice little boxer's fracture. So we're still waiting for that to recover. But my next fight will be at 170.
All right, man. I hope you heal up, champ. That's actually the last question I would have for you. Is there anything you would like to mention or say right now?
No, just a huge, just a huge shout out to my team, Duke City MMA, for the constant work they put into me, into the LFA for constantly giving me this platform. I'm lucky enough to have spent pretty much my entire pro career with the LFA at this point. So huge shout out to them.
Thank you so much for this interview. You were a true gentleman. I hope to see you again in the future. I'll be sure to tune into your fights at LFA. And I hope you get into a big organization soon, man. I'd like to see you succeed. You seem like a real stand-up guy. And again, I cannot appreciate enough your time for this interview.
Oh, man, thank you so much. And really reach out anytime. I'd love to do another interview with you after my next one. And yeah, man, thank you. Appreciate you and everything that you do for us too.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day and good luck, man. Heal up.
Thank you. Bye.